I'm Dr. Odunsi, and I'm a board-certified OBGYN. Today, I want to dive into the most Googled questions about periods. Let's get into it. If I get blood clots during my period, is that dangerous? So, if you see blood clots during your period, I want you to take a look at it. Are the blood clots golf size or are they coin size? The difference is that we want to make sure you're not losing too much blood during your menstrual cycle. Having clots is not dangerous in and of itself. The quantity and the amount is what I want you to look out for. If you're soaking through one pad an hour, that's a bit concerning and might warrant a trip to the emergency room. If it's a blood clot and you're going through the regular 4 pads a day, that's not something that's dangerous. The next question is it normal to have diarrhea or constipation around my period? The answer is yes. And roughly 12% of women have that diarrhea of the menstruation, meaning during their period, and it can be very painful and uncomfortable. What's happening is the uterus is contracting and the rectum is contracting as well. So if those two things are happening simultaneously, you may have very painful diarrhea during the period, or you might just have changes in your bowel habits and the bowel movements, and that's completely normal. I don't want you to be alarmed. There are some women that contraction is so intense that they feel like they have to scream while it's happening, but I want you to know that it is completely common. But if the pain becomes too intense, please make sure to go see your doctor. The next question is, can my period affect my mental health? The answer is yes. I'm sure we've all heard of PMS symptoms where you may become a little bit moody or have a change in your mood leading up to the period, and then the rest of the month you're fine. There's also PMDD, which is a more severe form of PMS where that moodiness, the change in the mental health happens. If you think you have symptoms of PMD, I definitely want you to talk to your OBGYN because there are things that we can do to help you with your mood. If you are having severe depression and anxiety or changes in your mood and you need help right away, please call 911 or go to your emergency department. Having mood changes during your period is not something to be embarrassed about. It's very common, and I want to reassure you that you can meet with one of us so that we can take care of you. The last question is, why do I have spotting in between my periods? This is a good question because we have to delve into the anatomy of the inside of the uterus, the endometrial lining. Every month, that lining, which is inside the uterus, it builds up. It becomes this soft, cushy landing for a potential pregnancy. When that lining sheds, that's when you have your period. Now, sometimes that lining can be too thick or too thin. When it's too thick, meaning it continues to grow, let's say you haven't had a period in several months and it becomes very thick, sometimes that extra tissue starts to slough off and you can have spotting that way. The opposite is true as well. If the lining is too thin, what it actually does is it removes some of that protection over the spiral arteries of the uterus. And now we have these arteries that are exposed and you can have spotting that way. So those are the two conditions that I see where you can have spotting. The lining is too thick or it's too thin. Everybody's period is different. And when you're talking with your OBGYN, if something changes for you and it's bothersome, definitely bring that up in your next appointment. I just wanted to reassure you that you don't have to be scared of your period. And as long as you're building up knowledge that's evidence-based, you'll have the confidence to go into your OBGYN appointment, ask those questions that need to be answered, and also have them explain what's going on with you. But period questions, they're very common, so make sure to bring them up with your doctor at your next visit. And if you like this content on women's health, I want you to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.